Like my opening screen. Which one is that? Just the flight deck of the Eclipse 550? Oh. I need to do a better job of that. I just threw that together in GIMP. I was waiting for more people to come in here. But yeah, Scott, I did your, I tried to do Pero, that airport that you said I should try in Bhutan. Was it Bhutan? Bhutan? But anyways, I did the ortho scenery for it, and it has a huge white. Hey, how's it going, Lars? It has a huge white texture going across the middle of it, of the tile. I have no idea what that is, but yeah. So yesterday I said that I would do the Ortho 4XP textures for Tokyo, and I've got them. I've actually got 6 tiles for Tokyo, for this area of Japan. Yeah, I'll show it to you after we get done with this flight, but it's awful looking. I mean, it's just one huge tile that's probably about 3 kilometers in width, and the tile is just completely white. I mean, I don't know what's up with that. It's not even like it. It doesn't have the circle with the cross through it either, saying that there's no texture. Usually that's what you get. They don't have any texture data for that, but yeah. But that was going to be my surprise airport for the day, is to have Pero. Yeah, so many people put thumbs down on it, and if you were here yesterday for the Courchevel, uh, if you were here yesterday for Courchevel and you saw how detailed that scenery is, it's detailed because I do the masks. I do the masks, inland masks, and the other masks, draw masks. That's next to it. Not everybody does that. See, if you don't do that, you don't get those textures. You don't get that grittiness to the texture. So, but I do it on all my orthos. So we'll just take a quick look, and this is Io Island. So I've done a little bit more reading on this part of Japan simply because we're going to be flying it. This island is called Io, and this is where Oshima is, both the town of Oshima and Oshima Airport. And we will fly across the ocean here, the sea, here to Mount Fuji. And I have 6 tiles. It's a lot of tiles for this area. And it goes all the way up to Tokyo. So, and also the peninsula that's east of Tokyo, I have that. I have this is actually a peninsula here also, and I have this peninsula. But a curious thing is that Japan actually has, and it's listed on Bing, it's the Japanese Alps. So in another video, I might push my orthos a little further to the northwest, and so I can fly to those Alps, because the French Alps yesterday were amazing. And you're going to like this too, because I flew this earlier just to make sure that the tiles looked okay, and they look fine. So I just want to make sure my mic's set up. I'm probably going to turn the desktop volume up, because I noticed when I watched my stream from yesterday, you could hardly hear the aircraft. So I'm going to turn that up a little bit, and just once we start up the aircraft, if you're having a hard time hearing me, just let me know, and I'll turn the desktop audio down on OBS. But other than that, I just want to make sure that my audio is set so it doesn't blow my eardrums out when I start this thing up. But this is pretty much going to be the same flight we did yesterday, but just with ortho scenery. And I rushed that Pero scenery right at the end, Scott, just for you. I was going to add it in there just so I could fly it. And it just had that huge tear in the scenery for some reason. I'll probably have to delete that and go back and try to make it again. But we're going to go ahead and start this thing and get up in the air and go check out some of the scenery. So we've got the system battery on. We have the starter battery on. Avionics are coming on. We have, change that pressure back to normal if you can. Grab that and change it to normal. We're only going up to 12,000 feet, so we're not going to get that high anyways. This is actually the difference between this switch and the other switch. If you click on these switches, you notice they're only a one-way switch. This switch has both the strobe and the beacon in the same switch. So if you click it up once, that's the beacon. You click it up again, and you have the strobe. So I know the first time I flew this kind of threw me off. Then as I flew it more and more, that's a two-part switch or two-stage switch. Okay, yaw dampeners off. Everything's we're good to go. Let's go ahead and start that left engine. Oh, not everything's okay because we don't have our chocks removed. That's why the aircraft did not start. So go to ground and remove the chocks and close the door. Now we can start. N2 coming up. Intake temperature and exhaust temperature is also rising. Okay, everything on the left engine's in the green. We go ahead and switch it back to on. Go ahead and begin the startup procedure for the right engine. It's coming alive. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the desktop audio up some right now. Just let me know if it's too much. Turn the desktop audio up to about 75%. So if that's too loud, or if you really can't hear anything, just let me know. So the engine is started. It's good to go. It's in the green. Oops! Don't turn it off. Ah! Hope that didn't screw it up. What did I do? See if the engine. I might have to shut the engine all the way down and restart it. I don't know. Looks like it's fine then. Yeah, it's great. Okay, we're just going to have this map here. And let's go ahead and turn this to localizer, except we're not going to use that right now. We're just going to use the heading bug. Gear down. That's where we're going to go. Alright, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and lower our flaps to take off. And release the parking brake and we'll begin our taxi. Now we're just going to do the same thing we did yesterday. We're just going to fly to Mount Fuji and then fly to Tokyo. We actually might do a loop around Tokyo, maybe go to that peninsula that's to the east of it since I have that scenery as well. But we'll see. We are going to have an in-flight cruise altitude of 12,000 feet. Turn the weather off so we wouldn't have any atrocious winds or headwinds when we do this flight. So let the back taxi down this runway. Our little Eclipse, using the same livery from yesterday. Okay, I can turn the volume down a little bit. Is that better? So I turned the audio down. I also turned the audio down in OBS, and I turned the audio down for the aircraft. So I'm hoping, just let me know if my voice is a little too loud, if it's too soft. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I usually don't mess with my OBS settings, but I noticed yesterday that the aircraft was way, you couldn't hardly hear it. Okay, we're going to go ahead, we're lined up here. Go ahead and take off, then we'll head to the north towards Mount Fuji. We'll give it full throttle, don't redline it. We'll have engine fire. back off a little bit. We're in the red. Back to about 99%. 85 knots is what we're looking for, and there we go. And we're up in the air. Gear could come up. We're above all obstacles, so flaps could come up as well. There's our target, is Mount Fuji. There. So I'm going to go ahead and engage the autopilot because the heading bug should be at the same setting I had it earlier. So we just simply need to do this, and we're going to set the autopilot here to climb indicate airspeed mode. And there we go. We are on our way to Mount Fuji. Take another little outside look of our little rocket here. Of course, we are still using reshade. It's still on colorfulness, so we're good there. And there's the coast of Japan, East Coast. So I do mute my mic when I take a drink because I have water. I always have water with me, so I always mute it. Unless I'm drinking sherry, then I usually don't mute it because it's not that loud. So if you hear my mic click on and off, that's why. Here's the coast. I think the weather settings are set the same. It's 50 statute miles visibility. Yeah. If you look to our left, there's a little volcanic dome. You see it there on this little dome. It's pretty cool. You don't see that at all on this global scenery. There's so much of Japan to explore. I kind of want to do, I wish I had unlimited storage so I could just create orthos for the entire world. I mean, that's the main reason I don't fly commercial airliners, because I like flying low, I like flying VFR, and I like looking at the scenery, because the scenery, if you're going to do ortho sceneries, and then fly an airliner at 32,000 feet, then you're just wasting your time, because I don't. That's my opinion, though. Some people don't share it.
Approaching altitude.
So almost up at our cruise altitude. There's Mount Fuji. I don't know what little town this is, but if you look down here, I mean, there's towns all around this little houses all around this volcanic dome right here. Isn't that crazy? That's just insane. And I don't know what these little areas are here. Like you see these little lines are on these hillsides. No clue. But Japan is beautiful. And I don't know what these are. I don't know if these are actually, if that's actually snow, but it looks more like it's a cloud in the texture. You know what I'm saying? When you look at these satellite photos, you see the clouds. I think that's what those are. That's not actually the real terrain. That's actually the clouds. There's Mount Fuji. And I believe at one time, I think Mount St. Helens was Rudy? I have no idea where he's at. I have no clue. At one time, I think Mount St. Helens was called the Mount Fuji of the West, of the Western United States, since, you know, you came in, I think it was coming to Portland, or is that Mount Rainier? Anyways, it's either Mount Rainier or Mount St. Helens is called the Mount Fuji of America. Since you come into a port here, you can see it from Tokyo, you can see it from all this entire portion of Japan. But look at this. I mean, there's a city here. I don't know what city it is. I didn't even really look at the map and find out what these city names were. Here's a huge settlement here, like a town or city. Let's see if we can look over here and find out. Was I alive when Mount St. Helens erupted? St. Helens erupted, what, 1982? It's either 1980 or 1982. How old was I? I'm just trying to figure out when's the first time it erupted. I think it erupted in 1980. If it erupted in 1980, I was 5 years old when it erupted. Mount Fuji. And see past Mount... Sorry. My mouse... Double click my mouse to have mouse look. Past Mount Fuji is what's known as the Japanese Alps. So I want to get ortho. So if I'm going to do more orthos for Japan, I'm going to push them more to this direction, so I can fly there too. But there's... You look here. All these houses. It's crazy because I think when Mount St. Helens exploded in 1980, I think its ash went like 15 miles. That doesn't look like 15 miles from there to there. So if this thing goes up, it's going to take out all these houses. I don't think I'd live anywhere close to a volcano. But it is beautiful. See, begin to see Mount St. Helens on the map here. So we pull out the map. Can't do it with mouse scrolls. Let's do it there. You see it right there. I think the saddest thing about the Mount St. Helens eruption is that the volcanologist, there were two volcanologists there. One of them died. The other one was driving from Vancouver to Mount St. Helens when it erupted. And he got there just in time to see the pyroxenic flow sweep over the other volcanologist's position and kill him. And that volcanologist that died, that witnessed that, he died in Japan, and I think it was 2012 or sometime. He died in Japan during a volcanic eruption. There's Mount Fuji. I mean, look, there's a crater there from an eruption. Yeah, you're just like me. I love the mountains and I love the beach. I live close to the mountains. I can see them from where I live at, and I love the beach. So just look at this. This is why you do the texture masks. You know, you use the inland mask for the waterway that's inland. Then you use the other mask that's right next to it in Ortho 4XP to create this grittiness. See how gritty that looks? The mountain looks? You don't get that unless you apply that mask. So that's why I created that video. Even though I got 3 thumbs down, evidently by people that don't know how to create orthos, but I won't get into that. I think Luna, Mo, and I have these trolls that just come by and thumbs down every video we do. I'm gonna fly a little bit further and probably go to the exit of this tile before we turn back to Tokyo, because I've never explored Japan at all and explain. So I'm just gonna fly and look at that lake. And look back at Mount Fuji. Perfect. Simply amazing. Which base source am I using for this? I am using Bing. Zoom level 17. So like I said, I get my best results with Bing as long as it's not in the United States. For some reason, I don't know, but I don't get the detailed orthos like this in the United States for some reason. But Mount Fuji, that just looks amazing. We're going to continue to fly north a little bit longer, and then we'll turn towards back towards Tokyo. Because when I flew this, I did a test flight earlier after I did these tiles this morning, and I just did a real quick test flight to make sure the tile looked all right. And I didn't fly into Tokyo, so once we fly into Tokyo, it'll be my first time flying into Tokyo with this scenery. Kind of makes me want to fly back past Mount Fuji again before we turn into Tokyo. I think I'm going to do that, just because it's just amazing looking. But for those of you who are new to the stream, this is all brought to you by Ortho 4XP, which is a free add-on to create photorealistic tiles for X-Plane. And also Reshade, which is a mod for X-Plane, which greatly enhances the look. So if I were to turn Reshade off, you'd get this. This is what you see in normal X-Plane. If you turn Reshade on, this is what you have. So, world of difference. To hit W, but whatever. Just hit it. And okay, so we are in Eclipse 550NG. I wish they had a BC button somewhere where I could just flip my heading. So let's just take it and roll head 150. So we're going to turn around and head back to Mount Fuji and grab one more look at it, and then we'll head to Tokyo. Like I said, when we fly into Tokyo, that'll be my first look at it with the ortho scenery, even though we flew to it yesterday as well. I use Bing for the US, but I'm not happy with it. I mean, I don't think it's as detailed as what you get in Europe and evidently in Japan, because this is amazing. So let's see how it looks when we catch Mount Fuji here coming into the windscreen. There she is. Fly a little bit further. Whoa, I just lost my avionics. Probably because I hadn't turned my generators on. So the battery's dead. We're still good. So, let's grab the heading bug and we'll head a little bit further south. So like I was saying yesterday, at 97% N1, and when we did that flight the other day to Buffalo, and I said that if we didn't have that headwind, we'd be flying close to 350 knots ground speed. Look at our ground speed, almost 350 knots. So this plane is a little rocket. And I have a warning light here. What's it say? Fuel quantity. Well, evidently I haven't refueled my plane, so we're going to have to cheat here and just refuel it in flight. So I've been flying it so much now that evidently we've used all our fuel, and it carries over from each flight. So let's just put some more fuel in it. So now we have plenty of fuel, half a tank at least. I'm going to go ahead and set the auto throttle. So let's go ahead and speed select. And we'll go up to 275 knots. And we'll hit the auto throttle. There we go. Watch the throttle moving. I'm not moving it at all. It's moving on its own. Let's go ahead and adjust our airspeed. I don't know why the aircraft wants to pitch and lose altitude. Well, it's probably because we're at 12,000 feet.
Approaching altitude.
So now it's going to have to play catch up with itself because it adjusted the throttle too much. We should be okay. So we'll make one more pass of Fuji and then head to Tokyo. Said it a couple times, but let's fly south of it. So the inland waterways, the inland masks for the ortho tiles, when I create these, that's what gives you the water like this. And it's actually the same X-plane water that's used for oceans and stuff. So if it's windy, you will see waves on these. Now, I took a vote in one stream of should I use inland masks for waterways or not, and everybody unequivocally said yes. So this time we're going to fly to the south of Mount Fuji. Go ahead and take an outside view. We'll fly past. You know what, I'm going to see if we can just climb up a little bit higher real quick. Decided to climb up to 15,000 feet. So get a view of it. Just look at the level of detail on those crevices inside the mountain. Okay, I think everybody's seen enough of Mount Fuji. So, we'll go ahead and make our way to Tokyo. We're going to do that. We're just going to set the autopilot. And we don't need to really hit a flight plan. We can just hit direct G. And I got to remember what the ICAO code, I think it's RJTTO. RJ... something like that. So RJTT. Yep, Tokyo. So we're going to fly direct to Tokyo and activate. And now we just simply go press nav. There we go. Yeah, I could put a landing pad on top of that mountain. There's another airport. There's an airport here in Virginia. I said this in the stream yesterday, but I'm going to look for it later. But it's a mountaintop airport. It's a real short runway. I'll have to take the Panthera, which I don't mind because I love flying the Panthera. And it's a really short runway on the top of a mountain. And it's just a flat part of the mountain. So I want to get that ortho. Go ahead and give Mount Fuji one last look. That's where we're supposed to be turning back for. We are. As we're turning on course for Tokyo. I've not taken it up any higher than 20,000 feet. Franklin. He's asking if this plane can fly high. I think the service altitude for this aircraft, I think it's 41,000 feet. In real life, it's 41,000 feet. But in this sim, I actually don't know. With the Epic Victory, also by Aerobask, its service ceiling is 28,000. And if you go above 28,000, you get a cabin pressure warning. So it's not only the engines, I think it might also be the cabin pressure. I'll have to take this one up to 41,000 feet in one flight. And because it should fly, its service ceiling should be like 41,000 feet. Here you can see where the ortho captured some of the clouds. So there's really nothing we can do about that. But no problem, Franklin. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I think you were here before. I think you were here yesterday, weren't you? When we did this flight. Thanks. It's amazing. Everybody knows I'm an Aerobask core, so I try to buy all of Aerobask's new aircraft. So I've got the Victory, I've got the Panther, and I have the Eclipse 550. But further in that direction is the Japanese Alps, which I said I want to create orthos for and fly at that area. But we're only 7 minutes from Tokyo, so we need to go ahead and set our approach, or our arrival rather. And here you're going to see just the famous bug that's in X-Plane now. So I'm going to hit load arrival. We're going to land at what did ILS 34 left? I do the same thing on everybody else's stream, M5. Dude, I do the same thing, man. Like when I watch Luna stream, I watch Mo stream, I do the same thing. I'm clicking on the screen to try to look around the cockpit and stuff. So you're not alone. I do the same thing. So we're gonna do the I'll do this one. Not gonna take a star. I'm gonna transition to KO, which is what we see. Now this is what I'm saying. This is a problem in X-Plane 11 now. Is that when it should fly from aircraft to Keho instead of just flying from Keho, which we haven't even gotten to yet, to Agnes. So we need to click on Keho again and hit direct to and fly direct, and then it'll do this again. Then we have to select it again and hit direct to, and then it'll sort itself out. This is a bug in X-Plane now. I've noticed this in every single Aerobask aircraft, and I think it's present also in the default aircraft. We're going to go ahead and reduce altitude here because we have we have to get down pretty fast. So we're just going to do 2,000 negative, enter. We'll go ahead and pull the throttle, turn the auto throttles off. We set this to 4,000. Negative 2,000, auto throttle off, throttles are back. And we'll set vertical speed mode, and so we can descend. So like I said, what you're seeing now is the first time I'm seeing this. Like I said, I flew a test flight earlier just to make sure that the orthos looked okay. So then begin our descent towards Tokyo. Which jet do I like more, this or the Victory? I've always been an Eclipse fan. I've always loved the Eclipse 550. So I'd have to say the Eclipse. And it's also for practicality purposes also. Eclipse, actually Epic, was a aircraft manufacturer that went bankrupt and went out of business. And they actually produced 5 Victories. But they don't produce the Victory anymore. since they went bankrupt. Now they've reconsolidated and they're producing the Epic has reconsolidated, and they were selling the E1000 as a kit plane, but now they're beginning factory production of the E1000. So you'll be able to actually go and buy an E1000 directly from Epic. The shadows in the cockpit are nice. Is that default, or are you flying with Lua? That's a good. Are you meaning this? So if I hit this, does it make a difference? Does it make a difference to you? See, I use reshade, so it's a little different. I don't use Fly with Lua. I used to use Fly with Lua and Real Terra Haze with X-Plane 10. So I know what you're talking about. But I'm not using Fly with Lua on here at all. The only thing plugin I have is Squawk Box. So, and that's for VATSIM, which I'm not using right now. But yeah, I can disable reshade with just a button. So this is with reshade on. This is with reshade off. If you look outside, this is with reshade off, and then this is with reshade on. That's what I use. I just think reshade makes the ortho tiles come alive, you know. I think Scott and I were having that discussion yesterday during the stream yesterday that reshade does greatly improve the way X-Plane looks. It's still buggy, it still crashes, you still have to exit X-Plane either through the just kill the process or Alt F4 out, then try to exit that way. But there's Tokyo International Airport over there, and this area right here is the area is known as Kawasaki, I believe. I think it's Kawasaki. So those of you who ride Kawasaki motorcycles, this is where they take their name from. Or is it Yamatsu? I don't know. I think it's Kawasaki though. This area here, this industrial area. I need a map of Japan just to have it next to me so I can look at it. I used to use my movie map. The movie map add-on for X-Plane 10 works for X-Plane 11 as well, and I usually fly with that on my left monitor. I'm not doing it today. And that's cool because you can actually see what towns, the names of the towns and stuff you're flying over. So I'm surprised the buildings haven't popped up yet. I mean, I have it set on high. And, well, these buildings down here is going to start popping up in a second.
Approaching altitude.
So I don't have the approach plates for this at all, but we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday, which is descend to 4,000 feet until we get to Akizu right here, and then we'll descend down to 2,000. We couldn't pick up the ILS yesterday when we tried this, so well, scratch that. We could pick up the ILS, but the plane wouldn't fly the approach. So I'll set everything up for the approach. So we'll go into waypoint info here. That's a fix. Oh, we can't do that. We got to go into waypoint info. Airport runways, and we are going. That's not the right airport. RJTT. Runways, runway 34 left is what we're looking for. Now I see pop-up buildings, but I don't see them as far out as what I think I should be able to see them at. If you're having problems with creating tiles and not seeing any pop-up buildings, then it's because you need your Y ortho. So I'll show you in a second. Let me set this up real quick. I'll show you. So I set nav 1 active. I set OBS 1 for runway 34 left. That's set up. So you said you're having a problem with the building showing up. Let me just show you. That's the easiest way to do this. So I'll just bring up
Autopilot disconnect.
Alright, so autopilot disconnected for some reason. Let's go ahead and turn it back on. See why. Oh.
Autopilot disconnect.
Because our throttle, I had the throttle set all the way back. So we were descending.
Autopilot disconnect.
So let's pick up speed, lower our nose here, pick up some speed, and we'll turn the autopilot back on. Don't have an engine fire though. Alright, we should be fine now. Okay, so let's go back. If you're having problems with your ortho scenery, not showing any buildings, not showing traffic, not showing trees or anything like that, then you have to go into your scenery packs.ini file here and make sure that this right here is you have to have this Y ortho 4XP overlay needs to be above your these Z orthos. So you have the Y ortho 4XP, then you have Z ortho 4XP. So this needs to be above these tiles. And once you have that above those tiles, then you should be able to see the buildings, the traffic, and the trees. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, just let me know. But I mean, I could see buildings. I mean, if I zoom in, like, see, I can see the buildings. There's a 3D buildings there. So I don't have that problem really. It just doesn't show up as far out as I thought it would. Yeah, it should be generated. It should auto-generate. If you go into... Let me show you. I had them go back there and do this, but I'd rather people know how to do this stuff. If you go into your Ortho 4XP and you go into your tiles, it's not going to be in here at all. It's like, so these are all the Ortho tiles I have. And you go into an overlay, it's going to be right here. So this Y Ortho 4XP overlay is the one you want. And I'll just make a shortcut to it. And just copy the shortcut into the INI file. Instead of having to move everything over there, I just create shortcuts for everything. Yeah, the overlay just create, this has all the .dsf files, all that information is located in there. Interesting enough, that's also the only information that Ortho 4XP will use from things like HD Mesh version 3. It will only use those .dsf files, so it won't use any of the elevation data from HD Mesh version 3. We talked about that yesterday. Yep, no problem, man. Yeah, if anybody ever needs help with ortho scenery, just message me on YouTube, or if you're part of our flight sim community on Facebook, you can message me there. Matter of fact, Luna and Momedia are also part of that community, so if I can't answer it, they surely can. So I'm going to make this turn back in. We're going to go ahead and descend down to 2,000 feet. descend in vertical speed mode. And as we're descending here, we're going to go ahead and lower our gear. We'll set the flaps to take off or approach, whichever. Oh, yeah, take off. There we go. For a minute there, I thought I almost thought I raised my gear again. So we're going to attempt again to get the 550 to make a fully coupled approach. I don't think it's going to do it, but we'll see.
Approaching altitude.
Take it down to 1500.
Approaching altitude.
After we land, I may go back to Courchevel again because I love that airport. I mean, I think that airport's amazing and pretty comical at the same time, since it looks like a ski jump. But the scenery there is just amazing. So, for those of you who didn't watch the stream yesterday, see the Courchevel area. If you thought this scenery looked amazing, just wait. So we still haven't picked up the ILS yet. I'm not going to be able to fly the approach, so I'm just going to land it by hand again. So autopilot's disabled. We go ahead and kick off the yaw dampener. We don't need that when we land. Go ahead and lower our last notch of flaps. See our land indicator on our flaps come up. And we have 2 reds and 2 whites, so we're on the glide slope. At least close enough to it. A little above it, actually. I typically don't chase the ILS localizer indicator down there. I don't chase that. I tend to stay on the lights. Because if you pay so much attention to that thing, you're going to burn.
400.
I'm screwing up. So yesterday I made this landing at 77 knots. Let's see if we can get close to 70 knots, 70, 80 knots when we make this landing today.
200.
So you can begin the city skyline of Tokyo there on the horizon.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And we are down. That's all there is to it. The 550 is an easy plane to land. We'll take a look at that landing again. Let's go to flight and we'll rewind this. Take a look at this landing. There's our little Aerobask, little 550. Crossing the approach lights there. There we go. You can't get a more perfect landing than that. We're going to head and switch gears here. We're going to switch over to the Panthera now and take off from Courchevel, France, in the French Alps. I did this flight yesterday with the ortho scenery, and people loved it. It was an amazing scenery, so we'll just do it again here real quick. So we'll go to flight config, pick up the Panthera. We'll go to Courchevel. Courchevel, France. Start new flight. Yeah, I try to make nice landings. Yeah, look at the sky. Yeah, the Alps again. Yeah, we're gonna go to Courchevel and do the French Alps just to have another look at them. And maybe even attempt to land in that little grass strip that's in that valley that we flew over yesterday. I did the video yesterday. I can do it again today. We'll just do it in the reverse order that I did it yesterday. So yesterday I did Tokyo, Loei, the arc scenery for Loei, and then I did the Bing scenery for Courchevel, and then just the base scenery for Tokyo. Today we did the ortho scenery for Tokyo, the Tokyo area. We're gonna go back to Courchevel real quick, and then we'll go back to Loei, and Loei has the arc scenery. So just give this thing a minute to load, or about 5 minutes to load, I guess. I'm probably going to switch back over to the helicopter takeoff in the helicopter area on Courchevel. So it's working good now, Lars? Sweet. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, you just got to make sure those overlays are above your photo scenery. I missed it yesterday due to sleeping. Yeah, I think I did it like what? When did I stream yesterday? Like 2 o'clock or something? Most of you guys were here. Or at least Scott and Lars were here. I know for sure. Yeah, but don't worry, we'll do it again. We'll just fly it in the reverse order. So we'll do Courchevel here real quick, and then we'll go down to Loei. So we'll go from the French Alps to the Austrian Alps, and then you can decide for yourself. I just don't think arc is as I don't think arc is as detailed as Bing in certain areas. That might be only be in certain areas, but from what I've seen, I don't think it's accurate. Of course, then again, I should probably be using the Loei demo area as my. Well, that doesn't really affect it either, because that's only for the overlay, the DSF files. It just turned 3 p.m. here, so. Where do you live at, Riga? Do you live in Eastern Europe? Okay, so here's Courchevel. Okay, so I'm starting off on the helicopter pad. So for those of you who weren't with us yesterday to see Courchevel, this is the 3D. This is the base 3D scenery, the base 3D airport rather, not the scenery. The base 3D airport for Courchevel. So if we look around here, just the airport. That's the airport itself has some problems. Like here, this should be flat when it's actually elevated at an angle. This right here should be flat as well, but it's on like a little knoll. So that's X-Plane 11. There's really nothing I can do about that. But the rest of the texture with the runway and everything is right. And all this scenery here is Ortho 4XP with Bing Zoom Level 17. And this is just one tile. I only did one tile for this area. With Tokyo, I did 6. So we're going to go ahead and start the Panthera up and go for a flight real quick, so you guys can see the amazingness that is Ortho 4XP in the French Alps. So 35 gallons of fuel, that looks like plenty. You go ahead and set the mixture full rich. Got a tank set for left. Let's make sure this thing has enough fuel in it. Oh, we just did. 34 pounds, 54, something like that. Don't want any mishaps like we had in the 550. So fuel pump's on, autopilot on. Keys can be turned on. Turn that to that. Okay, so we have fuel pressure. We can go ahead and start the aircraft. Aircraft is started. Go ahead and turn off the fuel pump. Go ahead and release the parking brake here. So like I said, this is Courchevel Airport. It's Lima Foxtrot, Lima Juliet, I believe, is the ICAO code. And it's probably, I called it yesterday, I said it was the Lukla of Western Europe. So, and you'll see what I mean in a second once we get up here. So we are going to need our flaps for this. This runway, I believe, is 537 meters long. And it's an 18.5 degree slope. So, here we go. Just watch how crazy this runway gets. It's like a ski jump, and we are in French ski country, so to have the runway like a ski jump is pretty fitting, I believe. So, we're going down the runway now. And we're almost at 63 knots, but we're not going to pull off yet. We're going to slap the tail. And there we go. So we're off. Gears up. Flaps are coming up as well. So we can take a look back at Courchevel. The airport, that is, because the town is right below us. So there is Courchevel. And let me turn left before we hit this mountain. And down below us there is Courchevel, the town. Like I said, we're going to fly up to this, over to this grass strip. So we'll just make this basically the same flight we did yesterday. And then we'll probably land in that grass strip. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll just fly back to Courchevel. That's you all's decision. Like I said, I'm just flying. So I do know we need to climb up to about 12,000 feet in order to get to this place. I can't even remember which airport it is. I don't know if it's LFKA or what. Let's range this out and see if I can find it. Hey Ranger, thanks a lot, man. I watched that the video for that you did, the last video you did for the A10. That's crazy. I've been trying to figure out how to work that camera, the independent camera, night vision camera, the targeting camera for the A10 for a while. I just don't think I have enough buttons on my controller to control all that stuff. But yeah, I love that video, man. So do you remember the airport we were flying to yesterday, Scott? I could have sworn it was this one over here. Is it it's LFK? I don't know if it's this or not, because I don't think remember flying south or west. We'll see. No, we didn't fly west at all. We flew the opposite direction. But look at this. I didn't look at this at all. Like this little town up here. What is this? Oh, this is the ski resort, isn't it? That's what it looks like. Yeah, this is where we flew at over here, Scott. Off to our southwest. Southeast, rather. So Lima Foxtrot Kilo Delta is the airport we flew to, and we looked at yesterday. But the level of detail, I mean, and like I said, you have to use that mask. You have to use the masks in Ortho 4XP. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you after this. And it was in my other video. They got 3 thumbs down by evidently by people that don't know how to create orthos. But yeah, you don't. This grittiness, the grittiness to these tiles. You see how gritty that looks? That gives it that level of realism that you don't get without that mask. You need to apply that mask that's in Ortho for XP. Not to build with masks, but actually go into the masks section of Ortho for XP and set that to yes. Because look at that. I mean, that's a rock slide right there, and you can see the individual rocks. Look at that. Alright, so I'm going to switch over to fuel tanks here, so give me a second. I'm going to try to do this without crashing. So there we go. I have that tutorial on there, Ranger. It's the last tutorial I did for Ortho 4XP, and it explains how I create the orthos. Look at this. Look, just look down at this. The little glacial lakes. Little mountains here. Look at the snow. Now let's turn south, and so you just look at this glacier on top of this mountain. Look at this. Look at the detail. So here's these little glacial lakes that we were talking about yesterday. I'm just going to back down the throttle up a little bit. I'm going to turn to the east here and lower altitude. We're going to make a flyby of this little. There's this little grass strip that we saw yesterday in this valley. And I'm just going to make a short little flyback by of that. Then we'll turn back, climb, and head back towards Courchevel. And then we'll move on to Louis so Regan can see how that architecture looks. It's like geography again, yeah. Yeah, I think it's Troll. I think it's just Trolls Ranger. I know Luna and Mo. We all three of us had the same problems with it's just certain people that come in there and do that. I don't even worry about it anymore, but it's just annoying sometimes. So here's that little grass strip we saw yesterday in yesterday's stream. We didn't come down to look at it. We're gonna come down and look at it now. I think it's P3D. People that fly P3D and FSX, and they're just jealous that their sim can't look this good. And I came from P3D, so that says a lot. So I think I don't think I have world scenery. I don't have it turned on. I think it's just yeah, I don't have draw shadows on scenery. It's turned on. So here's that little grass strip. This is the one we came to look at yesterday. And see the water. If you look at the water, well, you really can't see it now. 'Cause that's not even X-plane water. I do have Airport Environment HD, so it does change the texture of strips. So that's actually the Airport Environment HD grass texture for that strip. We are going to go ahead and add power and climb back up. Yeah, the snow was amazing. I mean, look, if you look up at the mountains now, it looks amazing. Hey, dear CEO, thanks for subscribing, man. So a lot of y'all might not know, but I streamed actually. You're watching this stream. Most everybody's watching this on YouTube right now, but it also streams live to Twitch as well. So, for those that aren't used to watching my streams, so sometimes if I'm talking to somebody that you don't see in the YouTube actually talking, it's probably because I'm talking to them on Twitch. But I get both through my through Restream. So now I've got to climb. Hopefully I can climb up the side of this mountain pretty quickly. I can actually fly up the valley right here. It's the same as this, except for it's XX, Epic Zeus XX, because somebody already had Epic Zeus. Epic Zeus is the name I use for Twitch. It's the name I use for YouTube. And it's the one I use for Steam. It's my Xbox One, gamer tag, everything. You like more X-Plane than P3D? I love X-Plane compared to P3D. The reason is that when I was looking, I had P3D. When I bought X-Plane, wow, look at see, that's the gritty textures. Amazing. Okay, but when I bought X-Plane, I was actually looking to buy the Orbix scenery for the United States. Okay, so let's look at the investment you have to make. It's not only planes that you have to buy for P3D and FSX, it's scenery. You cannot create photo visual scenery like this for free for X-Plane. I was looking at paying $60 for the orbit scenery for the United States, just for the United States, $60, and I think it's like $30 for the vector information. So that's $90 just on scenery. I'd rather take that money and spend it on aircraft. You know. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Orbix looks amazing in P3D, but it's not this. I mean, it's not this amazing. And even with that's why I was talking about the open LC stuff for the open land class data. You know what would be really cool to do here? Fly glider. It'd probably be awesome to fly a glider here. Just flying in and out of these valleys. Let's take a look outside real quick. Actually, I need to get over here on this screen before I hit shift F4. There we go. I really need to learn to turn my autopilot on when I do this before I hit a mountain. But as everybody knows, my streams are pretty interesting. Can get pretty fun. Like when I landed the Panthera the other day, and forgot to lay out the landing gear, so we did a better landing. Best belly landing you can get on X-Plane. But yeah, I forgot to put my landing gear on. Hey, Ruben. So we're flying the French Alps, Ruben. Aren't they amazing looking? This is only one tile for the French Alps and the Courchevel area. Whoa, don't want to turn that way. So now we're heading back to Courchevel with its ski jump runway, as I like to call it. And then we're going to go to Loey. And I didn't think the French Alps were this beautiful, Ruben. But now that I've done the tile for Courchevel, yeah, the Panthera version 3. Now I've done this ortho for Courchevel. I'm thinking about doing the entire French Alps because this is just beautiful. You can see Courchevel is down there to our left right now. You can see it right here. It's Courchevel. And we're going to have to fly a little bit low. We're going to have to descend to make that landing, but we won't have a problem. That's a 537 meter runway and an 18.5 degree slope, if you haven't watched this from the beginning. And so it's sloped just like a ski jump. Alright, Ranger. I'll still be here. We still have to go to Loey for Riga, because he wanted to see the Arc scenery for Loey. You know, I got to thinking the other day after I did the live stream that maybe, you know, I should have used the Loey demo terrain. Yeah, that's why I said just in yesterday's stream and earlier that Courchevel is the European Lukla. But as far as the Arc GIS scenery for Ortho for XP, I thought after I did the stream yesterday, I got to thinking about it. I was like, well, maybe I should have used the demo terrain for Loey. I mean, for Innsbruck, right? But that doesn't matter because let's go ahead and lower the landing gear here. Because that doesn't matter because only the DSF files, only the overlay is pulled from X-Plane when you use orthos, not the elevations or anything like that. So here's Courchevel. So see if we can't make a decent landing. Somebody flies helicopters. I forgot who it was. Is it you, Ruben, that likes to fly helicopters? No, it's Happy Camper. That's it. He's usually on here too. So kicking that one first notch of flaps. I have to set up a little higher in the cockpit because when we're landing here, the nose is way high and I can't really see. So just if I'm sitting a little far up in the cockpit for you. Yeah, no, it's not edible like the 550. I have it turned down because somebody said the voice audio was a little low. Yeah, I've watched Happy Camper's videos. It's helicopter videos. And Happy Camper, I think, also plays Armor 3. So I think he also does. This might be a little rough. It's kicking that last notch of flaps. We had a little bit of a bounce there. I was so worried. I always get worried when I land here about striking my tail on the lip of the runway because of the curvature. Let's go ahead and climb up to the top of the runway here, and we'll raise our flaps. Yeah, it's a bit rough. I'm always paranoid that I'm going to smack my tail on the runway when I make that land in there. So let's look. We'll look at the replay. Yesterday I was low coming in here. So this time I didn't want to be as low as I was. So let's take a look here real quick. We want the zoom out function, right? And we'll just hit play. We'll look at it from here. So I'm always afraid I'm going to hit my tail on that edge. So yeah, it was a little rough. But the slope on this runway is crazy. Okay, now we go off the Lowy to look at Riga's arc scenery. The Lowy. So change location. We'll go to Lowy. Start your flight. And you're going to immediately see a difference between the arc GIS scenery and the Bing scenery that we just saw in Courchevel. Is Ranger still on here? I gotta ask him a question. If he's not on here, I'll have to send him a message on his channel. So we're just going to load Lowy up here. It shouldn't take that long because we're not loading the actual aircraft. The aircraft's already loaded. So we should just be loading the scenery. There we go. Okay, so we'll just pop out the aircraft right here and we'll just go up and look. So this is the ARC GIS zoom level 17 overlay or in scenery that I got from Ortho4XP. so you guys can judge. I think it looks all right from a distance. And I like the coloring of the fields. Other than that, yeah, it does seem a little washed out. Now that might be because of reshade. Because if I turn reshade off, this is what, if you're not flying with reshade and X-plane, then this is what you're going to see. This is how it's going to look to you. But for me, with reshade, it looks like this. So we were saying the same thing yesterday, Riga. We said it looked a little overexposed, a little washed out. But once we fly up to the orthos, I used the arc zoom level 17. I did it because you said to use arc for Europe, and I was like, well, I'll try it on Lowy. It's rather hit and miss depending on where you are. Yeah. Let's go ahead real quick and we'll just even up the fuel in both tanks. So you see we're almost emptying the left tank. And let's just do total fuel weight, get everything equaled up here. Apply changes. Mixture rich, we have the key in the ignition, we have the fuel pump off, so the fuel pump needs to come on. We'll throw autopilot on so we don't get the warning message. And we're ready to start. Aircraft started. We'll just kick this GPS even though we're not going to use it. Look, there goes Austin's vegan food for you vegans. Okay, so fuel pump can come off. So I don't disable Squawk Box. I keep forgetting to disable it. And I'm just going to pull it out because I really don't use VATSIM. I'm probably most likely going to go back to Pilot Edge and then do all my live flights with Pilot Edge. And so that's why you're not seeing any traffic. So I don't have my lights on, so let's turn some of those lights on. Yeah, I did tiles for a viewer in Norway. The western part of Norway. I forgot what the name of the airport is. But I did 4 tiles there, and it was all you saw were clouds. I mean, it was just clouds, splashy cloud textures. You know, that's really annoying too, because I mean, you spend, I think it was 24 minutes just on converting the masks and downloading the overlay and converting the overlays to DDS files. So if you don't know the Ortho4XP scenery process, it downloads files and I think it's either JPEG or PNG or something like that. Then Ortho4XP converts it to DDS files. So that takes up the largest portion of making ortho scenery. And yesterday, just for Tokyo alone, it took 24 minutes just to convert and download all the files. And I have 100 megabyte per second fiber. So we're climbing, gear up. We can throw the flaps up, even though I don't think I had them lowered. Yeah, I've actually used ARC in the United States, and it doesn't. I don't think it really looks. It looks worse than the Bing scenery for the United States, but. I think the reason ARC looks so bad in the United States is I think ARC, the actual GIS system, you know, the Global Information System itself, has been in use in Europe far longer than it has been here in the United States. I think that might be one of the problems with ARC in the United States. Look at Lars. No, no. Are these mesh free? Yes. You can create them yourself. Well, the price is free. However, you have to use an immense amount of your CPU to actually convert everything. So it's not free when it comes to CPU usage, and that's not free when it comes to storage, because this tile alone, just for Lowy, is 8.5 gigs. And this is zoom level 17. If you go any higher, you're looking at like anywhere between 20 and 50 gigs per tile. So the most economical tile set to use, zoom level use, is 17. Now, as like Scott and I were talking yesterday, and I think Laura's also, if you wanted to use like zoom level 18 or something like that, your best bet is to create. Yeah, I think you should delete your HD Mesh version 3. I mean, unless you're going to use the DSF data, because I think they're tree lines. If you're looking like at tree lines and farm, and hedges around farms and stuff like that, and around clearings, I think the data from HD Mesh version 3 will give you a more accurate tree line, but I don't think it's really worth it, because you're not going to get any of the elevation data. All that's going to be downloaded from for height maps from Zoom Panorama, which is the website they use for the height maps for Ortho4XP. So we're going to take a quick look outside. Must you buy Xenviro for weather? If Ranger was in here, he could tell you, because Ranger79 Productions, he's another streamer, and he streams X-Plane 11 and DCS World. He has Xenviro. So, and Mo Media also has Xenviro. You have to realize this is a trade-off. Like, what you have to know what CPU is using. So, what CPU are you using, Franklin? But you have to realize, I've gone over this several times in my streams, because people still don't understand the difference. So if we go in here right now, if you look at my frame rates, I'm getting 29 frames per second. Okay, this is while streaming, and this is while set at high settings. If you look up here, you can see that my GPU is hardly even being used. So, it's like 13% of my CPU, but 35%, GPU, but 35, almost 36% of my CPU is being used. So your CPU, your CPU has to be better than your GPU. So, what affects your CPU in X-Plane? The things that affect your CPU in X-Plane is the amount of objects you're drawing. Not only that, it's the avionics that you use. So all these avionics in this aircraft, because this is a very complex aircraft with these avionics, that's taking a hit for your CPU also. Now, if I was to go in and fly the base Cessna 172, the CPU would be about the same as the GPU, because you're not using that complex avionics. So the more complex the aircraft, the more complex the avionics, the more CPU you're going to use. So therefore, if you're using a complex aircraft and using something like Xenviro, which also uses a lot of your CPU, then you have to worry about your CPU usage, and that's going to kill your frame rates. So it's just not your CPU or your GPU. Actually, it's not just your GPU that affects your frame rates. I have a GTX 1070. So you can see it's hardly even being used. So it's not only your GPU, but you have to think about your CPU also. This is an i7 6700, and it's running right now at 3.9 gigahertz. So, but it's not overclocked. Now, if you would overclock with a 6700K or something like that, then you'd probably get better performance. But if you're going to overclock, the 4790K that Mo Media has or the 7700K are your better choices, because I don't think the overclocking of the 6700K equals either one of those. And if you're going to stream X-Plane, you need to have an i7. There's just you have to have those extra threads. So I think we've flown out of the ortho scenery. Yes, we have. So we're going to turn back around. But that's just my opinion. I mean, but you have to realize there's a lot of things that affect your frame rate. And it's not your GPU. It has very little has to do with your GPU. Yeah, I don't think it would either. I think well, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to stream at 4K and run an XEnviro at the same time, and then fly complex aircraft, then it's going to kill your frame rate. A lot of people have a why is it only running at 3 gigahertz? The 4790K, even stock runs at 4, right? It should be boosting all the way up to like 4.1. I don't understand why it would be at 3. Oh, underclock, it's more level. Yeah. But I don't even know. I mean, if you go in here and look at mine, I'm only using 4 gigs of VRAM. So I don't. That's 6 gigs that you have for the 1060 should be fine, Scott. You should have almost 2 gigs of VRAM left. I'm just going to pull the throttle back here so we can descend. Oh yeah, my brother, Rudy, Raging Rudy, he has a 1060. He has the same card. He has a 6 gig 1060. No, he has the 3 gig 1060. He has the 3 gig 1060. He gets awesome frame rates. I wish he'd have gotten the 6 gig 1060, but yeah, I've seen some crazy RAM, VRAM usage on X-Plane sometimes. Like when I was running my GTX 750, I'd see some crazy VRAM usage, and when I switched over to the 1070, it wasn't the same. I mean, it wasn't the same usage, the GPU usage or VRAM usage. Ruben, I was going to, before I bought this ROG, I was going to get a RX 480. And that, I'm so glad I didn't, because Team Red has been having a rough go of it with X-Plane. They released that patch in the beta to try to address some of the performance issues with NVIDIA ATI cards or AMD cards, and that increased it a little bit for some people. But I had people, in my comment section saying they couldn't get as good frame rates on the R9 390 as I got with the GTX 750, and that's sad because the R9 390 is like three times more expensive than the 750 was. It's funny. I almost exclusively that GTX 750 Ti that I had was the first NVIDIA card I had bought since the 90s, since the early 90s, early 2000s. Ever since then, I've used AMD cards, and that GTX 750 I bought it in 2014 when it first came out, and it was the 40-win edition, the EVGA 40-win edition, and I had it until last month, until I got this GTX 1070. Now, if you're looking for something that's cost-effective, Ruben, and you don't want to pay full price like for a 1060, if for some reason somebody cannot afford a 1060 or 1070, I'm not going to judge anybody because everybody has different responsibilities. But the GTX 1050 Ti, the 4 gig model, has the same performance as the GTX 770 4 gig, and the 770 can easily fly X-Plane 11. What do you guys like for a motherboard? Do you mean manufacturer? I've always bought Asus motherboards, so I'm pretty partial to Asus. I don't think I've ever owned a board that hasn't been Asus. And I'm using Asus ROG now, the gaming desktop. Let's go ahead and lower our gear. Lower one notch of flaps. We can land here at Louis. I like the BIOS in Asus, the EFI BIOS. But everybody has that now. I think Asus was the first ones to come out with the Asus and Asus. Asus. I think Asus were the first ones to have the EFI BIOS. I'm not sure though. I might be mistaken.
Approaching altitude.
I tell you what I've been considering doing is getting a dual LGA 1366 motherboard, because you can buy those for cheap now, and it doesn't have the PCI Express lanes and stuff like that like modern cards do, and it doesn't have SATA 6. But you can drop two of those X5690s, those Xenon processors, those 6-core 12-thread Xenon processors into it, and that thing is just a monster. And I've been wanting to do that and just get one of those dual socket motherboards for LGA 1366. And there we go for our landing. Get one of those and try running X-Plane on it. So you have 12 cores, 24 threads at 3.8 gigahertz. I think is its max speed without overclocking. And Xenon, you can't really overclock them things anyways, not by much. But yeah, get a dual CPU Xenon motherboard and try playing X-Plane on that, since X-Plane is so CPU intensive. See how it handles 12 cores and 24 threads. Let's go ahead and take a look at that landing. There we go. Okay, we can do one more airport. Where do you want guys want to fly from? It's probably not going to have ortho scenery, but we'll fly from it anyways. If anybody has any requests, we will entertain a request at this time. So, and then aircraft too. Request what type of aircraft. I have the 3 Aerobask aircraft, my favorites, which are the 550, the Panthera, and the Epic Victory. So Ruben or Riga wants EGTO. So EGTO Rochester, and we want to fly just the Panthera. I guess we'll just do the Panthera. So let's start there, since it's already loaded. So when I said Rochester, I was like, Rochester? Rochester, New York? And I was like, no, that's not EGTO. So load, load, load. The airport's website belongs in 2000. What's the temperature there, Ruben? If you guys don't know, I always mess with Ruben about the temperature difference between where he lives at and where I live at. Because Ruben lives in the Netherlands, I think. Don't you live in the Netherlands, Ruben? Okay, Ruben. Right now it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit here, or 30 degrees Celsius. So if y'all have never watched the stream before, Ruben and I are always asking each other what the temperatures are, because there's a huge temperature difference between where I live at in Virginia, in the United States, on the east coast of the United States, and where and most of Europe doesn't have the same temperatures that we have, and they certainly don't have the humidity we have. So yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Fahrenheit's a good temperature scale. I'd rather use metric. Well, I'm not in shorts. I'm in my house. It's freezing cold in here because the AC is set to like 72 degrees. I have to wear a hoodie when I'm sitting inside my house because it's so cold. All right, this is Rochester. This is in Britain, right? Let's take a look. So this is Rochester, and if this is in Britain, then this is using GB Pro. That's pretty cool. Yep, we're in Great Britain because you see we have a, what is that? Is that a windmill? Power windmill? Let's go fly over and look at it. I saw a couple of things I want to fly and go look at. Yeah, I don't like Fahrenheit. Believe me, I'm from the United States. I don't like Fahrenheit either. Okay, we already had the key in ignition, so we don't need that. Let's go ahead and start the plane up. So I saw a couple of things I want to go look at. I want to go look and see what that is over there. Is that a nuclear power plant? Looks like a nuclear power plant. Looks like the, You put me on a grass runway? A grass strip? That's cool. So we're going to take off from here and fly back over there because that looks like a nuclear power plant right there. It looks like the, one of the domes. Or the tower for it. So, you don't need the fuel pump on anymore. Parking brake released. This will be easy taxiing out onto the grass. Now, I don't think it's a wind. No, the windmill is over in that direction, but I'm going to fly towards what I think is a nuclear power plant. So we're going to lower that notch of flaps. Ruben started me off on a, or Rigo, one of the two, started me off on a grass runway. We're fine. There we go. 63 knots. We're up. Hey, James. How's it going, man? Ain't seen you in a while. Flaps coming up. Gear coming up.
Approaching altitude.
Stream video froze here? It's still streaming. It doesn't say it's crashed. You might want to try reloading. Okay, sounded okay, so it's kind of... I don't have any frames dropped. I'm still streaming. So... if you try refreshing the stream, maybe it'll work. Okay, what is this? What is this smoke? Okay, let's investigate, because you see there's smoke on the horizon coming out of this thing. Let's see what these are. Is anybody from the Rochester area of Great Britain? Now I was saying that, Rigo, because our cooling towers here in the States look like this. Aircraft sounds a little low. Is that better? I turned the desktop volume up some. Yeah, because see, in the United States, our cooling towers for our nuclear power plants look just like this. So, yeah, Apache War Party. We're gonna go investigate. Is that a barge out there in the ocean or in the bay? Yeah, I haven't floated around Great Britain a lot since I've gotten GB Pro. Only the on Isle of Man and stuff like that. Isle of Man and Jersey that I've created ortho scenery for. Depleting the ozone layer. Yeah, right. You know. What would be even funnier if you have this and then you have a bunch of air turbines, wind turbines. What part of the states am I in? I'm about 45 miles south of Washington, D.C. So I'm in the state of Virginia, and it's on the East Coast. I live actually closer to the mountains than I do the coast. Even though my father lives in Virginia Beach, which is on the coast. So, but wow, that's crazy. It looks like Chernobyl. Yep, this is Britain, and this is the GB Pro scenery. Look at the cranes. The cranes are down there moving. Check them out. Oh, you finally fixed it? Yeah, because you have the Titan, don't you, Ranger? Don't you have the Titan? Pascal Titan? But I'm going to go out here and investigate and see what this is. Out in that water. Yeah, I was going to ask you a question too, Ranger. I was going to send it to you on your page, Raj. Now, what is the voice settings that you use for to tell your wingman to attack on DCS? Sure. What was your fix? So if you'll have it, if anybody has any questions about X Enviro, Ranger is the guy you want to ask, because he's X Enviro. Hey Scott, man, thanks for watching, dude. I'll see you later. Because I know you'll be on here tomorrow when I stream, so. Is that an aircraft carrier? For real? It looks like an aircraft carrier. Maybe it's not. But it's got a wave behind it, so it's got to be an aircraft carrier. Y'all know what that means. Carrier ops. And the Panthera. Oh, look, it's turning. Check it out. Morph Vox. Oh, for DCS. Okay. Okay, so this aircraft carrier is turning. We're going to land on it. We're going to try to land on it. What did the Panthera carrier ops? Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about X Enviro Ranger, so I just point them to you since you use it. Hello, little aircraft carrier. Let's hope I don't hit the conning tower.
Approaching altitude.
Okay, let's swing back around and see if we can't land on that. Well, we'll do a touch and go on the carrier deck in the Panthera, because I don't think we'll stop in time to actually make it. So. But you have to remember, Ranger has the Titan X Pascal, so he doesn't have the normal everyday
Call
man's.
the ball.
Uh,
ILS 108.10. Heading 262. You're overpowered.
oh look, the paddles.
You're overpowered.
The paddles on the aircraft carrier could give me their callouts. Sweet.
You're overpowered.
All right, so I have 1 notch of flaps and landing gear down.
You're overpowered. You're overpowered.
I don't know how I'm overpowered on flying at 80 knots, dude. Come on.
You're overpowered. You're overpowered.
This
You're
aircraft carrier
overpowered.
is getting it.
You're overpowered. Cut. Cut. Cut.
You see there's an aircraft carrier.
Cut.
Man, not aircraft carrier, but helicopter right here off the runway here. Yeah, off the
Cut.
aircraft carrier.
Wave off.
Wave off. What? I ain't waving off,
Wave
dude.
off. Wave off.
Missed all the wires, but we did. There we go. Look. First ever Panther landing on an aircraft carrier. Can you get a like for that? Anybody? Get a like? Look, guys. We're on an aircraft carrier. And a Panthera. How's it going, guys? Let's look at the replay. Let's talk at the replay and go back. So all this time, Mo was having a problem in his last stream with his landing on his carrier. But look how slow, look how slow I'm flying. It's like 60 knots. Missed all 4 wires, arrestor cables. I was able to I was able to stop. So now I'm going to turn around, taxi back down to the end of the runway and take off again. Or actually the end of the deck. We'll take off. So I've never seen anybody land a Panthera on an aircraft carrier before, so this is a first. For me, at least. Let's turn around here. First we need to turn the replay thing off. I'd love to take off from one of those Russian aircraft carriers. Well, they only have one, but I'm trying to wiggle this thing around so I can taxi back down to the end of the deck and take off. Oh, I think I've got plenty of runway to, plenty of space to take off in. As long as these arrestor cables don't mess me up. And as long as I don't taxi off the back of the aircraft carrier. We're gonna spool her up though. Look, they're bringing a plane up on deck. Check it out. I've never seen them do that. Look, so they brought. I have no clue what that is. It doesn't look like anything I know would. Okay, so it doesn't look like an F-18 like that. Okay, so we're lined up. We'll throw the power ollie up before we release the brakes. We have 1 notch of flaps in. There you go. There's 63 knots, so we should be able to take off now. There, we're up. We're good. Flaps up, gear up. So a successful landing and takeoff on an aircraft carrier in a Panthera. We had to go show all those Navy fighter jocks up. It was probably the worst looking model for a Prowler I've ever seen. If it's an EA6B.
Approaching altitude.
Oh, I loved it. A6. I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, where are we going to go now? I don't even know where we are in Great Britain, so I don't know which direction to fly, to go fly to an airport or whatever. We don't want to fly through the chemical waste, so let's go ahead and turn away from that. Like, they had, I had a mod. I don't know if you've ever played it, Strike Fighters 2, Ranger. I had a mod for that had the actual EA6B in it, or not the B, but the I think it was the A. That had the actual I don't know if I can't set links in here. I have to go onto YouTube to do it. But this is what I'm seeing. This is the chat I use, Ranger. So I can't set permissions from here. I'd have to actually go into the browser and set that. So, but this is what I use because I use Restream. But hold on a second. Let me pause this real quick, and I'll do that. So hold on. So I just need to bring up YouTube real quick, and just to give permissions real quick. So just bear with me really quick. Let me pause this real quick, and I'll do that. So hold on. So if I make okay, so how do you allow? I have no clue. So let's go to So I'm just going to fix this real quick. Just hold on a second. Alright, Ruben. Thanks for watching, man. Where's James? Is James still in here? Alright, try it now, Ranger. Try it now. I just made you a moderator, so you should be able to do it now. There you go. Yeah, I had to make you a moderator to enable in order for you to do it. So this is the Thames right here, right? So I just need to fly west, you say? Yeah, it's just that I had to click on the link just so it saves because it doesn't save these. Hey, Alexander, how's it going, man? I see you're new to the stream. But yeah, I had to open the link in Edge, so I had it for later. Hey, Flying Soul, how's it going? You're new here too. Welcome aboard. The stream's actually going a little longer than what we originally intended, but that's okay. Currently flying up the Thames. Towards London. You'd be amazed how many people in the United States pronounce the Thames as the Thames. So it says using the GB Pro scenery. We have everything up, right? We have the gears up, yeah. Flaps are up, gear up, yeah. So good. So now, Ranger, now all they have to make is an A10 for X-Plane 11, and then you can try to land an A10 on a carrier deck. Is that why you haven't been doing live streaming X-Plane? Just because you were having that problem? I know you haven't streamed a lot of X-Plane lately. You've streamed DCS World. Thanks, Alexander. We will. We'll try to have a nice flight. It's really flat in London, in the area around London, isn't like no hills whatsoever. I guess some crazy slow frame rates now since we're approaching London. And we have GB Pro. So not only am I having to draw the GB Pro scenery, but also the default buildings as well. So the frame rates may suffer a little bit. Oh, there's an airport right there I'm gonna land on. This is that London? That's London City Airport right there in front of me, right? It looks like it is. I'm gonna land there. But yeah, I think that's London City Airport right there. I know somebody's gonna correct me. Tell me if it is or I think I've seen Luna
Approaching altitude.
land here, and he did the ortho for this area, and I think it was like underwater. So the strip was right on the water. So the frame rates are going to die here. So I try to land because of all these 3D buildings. Let's look real quick. Gear down, flaps down 1 notch. Which joystick do you fly with, Ranger? You fly with the X52, right? Or do you fly with the Warthog? I bet you if I overclock my PC, I wouldn't have a problem with this scenery. You don't even use your Warthog throttles. Okay, we're down there. Okay, somebody give me another airport. I don't care if it's in England, I don't care where it's at. Let's go way all side and we'll fly here. So I think I'm gonna do one more flight, and I'm gonna fly from I've always flying from Dulles to the airport that's closest to my house that I live in. So I haven't done the orthos for this yet. I don't think. No. But I'm gonna do the orthos for at least for the state of Virginia, or the Commonwealth of Virginia rather. Sorry. So we'll do one more flight. It's gonna be from Dulles to Culpeper Regional. We actually might fly west out into the Shenandoah Valley, then fly east to Culpeper. So let's start up real quick. Shouldn't take long. That key's already in ignition, so let's put that back down. We go ahead and start. Autopilot needs to come on. That can be turned off. And fuel pump come back off. Electric parking brake off. So this will be the last flight for the day. We're just gonna spin this thing around and go take off. Doesn't really matter which direction we take off in. think that right there to the left is the FedEx ramp at Dulles. So this is Dulles International Airport. It's one of, if you're going to fly into Washington, D.C., it's one of 3. Oh, make sure you, I've done that flight, Ranger. Make sure you have the Ortho Force XP steering for that, 'cause that's a pretty amazing flight. I've done it. I think I did a live stream from it. No, I did a live stream from Salt Lake City to no, I didn't do the live stream from Salt Lake City to Denver. But yeah, the Ortho scenery from Salt Lake City up to Jackson Hole is amazing. The Grand Tetons, awesome. Are you gonna live stream that, Ranger? To make a point to watch it. $7 or in Ortho? That's like 8 GB for just one tile for me. Or is it 7 terabytes? I gotta know exactly where I'm at, so hold on a second. There we go. Oh, record, okay. I'm looking to see which one I'm going to take off of. Okay, I'm not going to use this whole runway, so I'm just going to pull out here. This is going to be so unrealistic. I'm just going to turn out here and turn my flaps down, take off. I only need 63 knots to take off, so I'm not going to need the whole runway anyways. But I just want to get up in the air as quickly as possible and don't want to be running around this airport. So here we go. 63 knots, and we're up. Gear up, flaps up. And we're heading south now, so we need to make a right turn here and head west.
Approaching altitude.
So this is Northern Virginia. Most people from where I'm from can't stand Northern Virginia because it's not really part of we don't consider it as part of Virginia. We consider it as Southern Maryland. So, because it's totally different than the rest of the state when it comes to the people's mindsets, and everything like that. It's totally it's more like Southern Maryland than it is like Virginia. So we're going to fly west here. This first mountain range you see above in front of us here is the Bull Run Mountains. There. So if you have any American Civil War fans, right over here in this area would be the Manassas battlefield. I've ridden horses there. It's also where Manassas Regional Airport is, which is off to our south right now. The Bull Run Mountains are pretty weird. if you go on the Bull Run Mountains, there's a we only have two types of poisonous snake, or there's three types of poisonous venomous snakes in Virginia. We have the water moccasin, which is in far southeast Virginia. We have the copperhead, which is statewide, and then in the mountains we have timber rattlesnakes. Now, here in the Bull Run Mountains, the population of the timber rattlesnake is like 2 or 3 per acre. So you have the largest population of timber rattlesnakes here on these mountains right here in front of us, and it's not even a big mountain range. You can drive from the southern part to the northern part in about 30 minutes. So it's crazy. But I-66 runs through here somewhere, and it runs straight through Thoroughfare Gap. I don't see it. It's down there somewhere. Off to our left, that's Manassas and Gainesville. So we're going to fly out west a little further. We're actually going to fly straight for the Casanova VR station. I have pictures. And if you're a member of the Flight Sim community on Facebook that Luna, Mo, and all of us have, I'll post pictures of the Casanova VR station. If you see the CSN here on the Dying Sky View, that's the Casanova VR station. I'll post pictures of that. I have pictures of me standing by that, taking video from there and everything. In the wind, I mean, it's atrociously windy there, because it's on the side of a hill. One of probably the tallest, highest elevation in Fauquier County. So we'll fly off of Casanova real quick. Casanova is crazy. Fauquier County in Virginia is hunt country. So, and we're not talking about deer hunting or anything like that. It's actual fox hunting. And they closed down massive stretches of roads in Fauquier County, so people don't hit horses when people are fox hunting, and that's every fall. So there's no, and if you're in the fall and you're in Fauquier County, it's very common to see people on horseback riding on the road between fields and stuff, fox hunting. And the county I live in, which is Culpeper, is getting into fox hunting. So there's 66 right below us, right below our wing right here. The KCGR is where we're going to land at, but I'm going to fly over here towards Castleton Mountain, because that's actually where our farm is. So. Oh yeah, well I'm subscribed to your channel, Ranger, so I'll get an alert when you start streaming. So that to our left is the town of Warrenton. It's Warrenton's little airport there. So off the distance there, you can see right over the propeller hub right here, you can see there's Old Rag Mountain. I can see that from my house. I can't see it from the house. If I go to the end of my driveway My driveway's almost a quarter mile long, so if I walk up to the end of my driveway, I can see Old Rag Mountain from the driveway. But I can see Battle Mountain, which is right here, and then there's Castleton Mountain there. I can see those all from the house. So, and I've always wanted to live close to the mountains. So, but it's awesome. Only living 20 minutes from the mountains. It takes me 20 minutes to drive there, and it's just fun. I spend a lot of times in a lot of time in the mountains in the summertime, mainly because it's about 10 degrees cooler in the mountains than it is elsewhere. 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So over that second mountain range there would be the Shenandoah Valley. You can see the front of it right here. I was actually going to move to, there's a little town in the Shenandoah Valley called Mount Jackson. I was thinking of moving there at one time. This 2-lane road here off my left wing is, I believe it's 211. Which means this little mountain right here is Battle Mountain, and this mountain right here is Castleton, and then our farm would be right here. We'll fly close to it, but then we're going to turn to Culpeper and land, and that'll be in the stream. I think I have Raging Rudy messaging me to play Armor 3. We started playing Wasteland the other day again on Armor 3, and he's always wanting to play that. So we'll do a quick flyby of Castleton, and then or Castle Mountain. The town is called Castleton. There's like a little village. Then we'll turn back and head to Culpeper. However, wife. I remember when I had a wife. I was married for like 14 years. So we're just going to make this turn right here at Castle Mountain and then go land. Oh, wow, we're over speed. And we're going to go land at Culpeper. Yeah. I've been playing some version of Armor ever since Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis was out, so. And now they're getting ready to come out with the Jets DLC and everything like that, so I'm pretty interested in playing it. So So we're going to go hit Culpeper here real quick. We can already see it in there. It's KCJR. Usually on Memorial Day, like 3 years ago, they did the Flight of Freedom, and it was all the World War II aircraft stuff, and they staged out of a lot of the fighter aircraft staged out of Culpeper Regional Airport. So they had the P-51s there. They had some P-47s. A lot of Corsairs, and a B-25, B-24 was there. I'd post in the forums, Ranger, because you know if you're having problems, then I guarantee you other people are having problems. See, I clicked that link, and I'm gonna look at it as soon as I'm done with this stream.
Approaching altitude.
Okay, so Culpeper Regional is right up here on our left, so we can see it right here. Yeah, but they had all kinds of World War II fighters there. I loved it. I mean, it was like a aviator, aviation enthusiast's dream. We're about to land, so we can end the stream. Follow this link. There's the town of Culpeper right there to our right. That's Rixeyville Road right there. That's the road I take to get to Culpeper. So I live about 15 miles from the nearest. I live about 15 miles from the nearest town. So we still have high-speed internet. Turn and land. And this is exactly how Culpeper looks. Culpeper Regional, that is. So I'm going to go right out here, just pass over Route 29, which is this 4-lane road that's in front of us. And I'll turn back in and land. So that's Route 29 there with railroad tracks running parallel to it. That's the closest thing we have to a highway between 395 to the east and I-81 to the west. Kick that last notch of flaps in. There we go. So I've officially flown back home, and that's gonna be it for today's stream. I'll probably stream again tomorrow. I don't know where yet. Nobody's given me any clues to create orthos for anywhere. So I'll try to be creative. And Ranger, I'll be waiting for your stream to start up, so I'll let you know. And as soon as your stream comes on, it'll alert me on my phone, so I'll know. But I'd like to thank everybody for watching and joining us for this flight. It's been about 3 hours. We've seen some beautiful scenery. And thank you guys for watching.